What do you think about this one? Is this a serious deadline, or is also going to be changed like the other ones, right? Or maybe he will. So let me actually read it first. He says, "Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God." This is the first time he ends, like, the first time I'm seeing that. Usually he ends it by saying, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." Now he's ending it, but glory be to God, all caps, President Donald J. Trump. I don't know. This seems like serious. Or maybe it's because of Easter. I don't see him being able to change this 48-hour deadline as well. It's going to look really ridiculous if he changes this as well. The only way he could get out of this is to do a limited attack and then sell it as raining hell upon them, even though it wasn't that big. I mean, we already, by the way, right now seeing that infrastructure is being targeted. Some petrochemical infrastructure is being targeted right now. Some other, I forgot what some other infrastructure. By the way, the petrochemical being targeted, that might cause. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But it's nothing. It's big. It's a big deal, but nothing resembling hell being rained upon them. Will rain down upon on them. So yeah, so this, if he does deliver on this promise, like actually instead of like something smaller that he's gonna sell it as something big, then this is gonna completely change the nature of this military operation. By the way, I know a lot of people say that everything was planned ahead of times, and they knew what's going to happen. um Whatever, if you believe that or not, it doesn't look like that. So you have to accept that to the average viewer it looks like they didn't expect this is going to happen. They it it looked like they thought that by now things would have resolved. Like, let me know if you guys agree or not. um but it looks like they're getting frustrated. I mean, especially given that President Trump before this came out and said that, oh, they're more reasonable now. They want to surrender. I'm dealing with talking to people who are speaking in a way that nobody else from the regime talked before. And I, what is, like, because because to us who understand the Islamic Republic, such an option doesn't exist. And we have been telling you guys, both on the show and here, that based on our understanding of how the regime operates, they don't even have that option, even if they wanted to. Like, even if they wanted to bend the knee, their regime followers, they wouldn't let them. Like, Ali Khamenei's killing, a lot of people don't understand this because Ali Khamenei is like a radical jihadi person, but Ali Khamenei had a moderating influence on these people, right? And without him, they are full on jihadi now. They're not. There's nobody to convince them that to hold back or capitulate, with some for with some Islam, give them some Islamic justification for why they need to surrender. Like, well, they don't sell it as a surrender. Somehow sell a surrender as a win. Right now, the regime followers, they want the maximum. So this is why I knew at some point Rouhani and Zarif will come out and try to figure out a way to signal to the Americans that, hey, pick me, I'm the reasonable one. And as soon as they do that, the regime forces will turn against them. I wouldn't be surprised if he finds Zarif dead tomorrow in his home somewhere, killed by a whole bunch of pro-regime people because of the article that he posted in Foreign Affairs. um it's actually, um they're I think they're the the most dangerous person to, like, a lot of people think like Ghalibaf or whoever is the head of the regime is now in the riskiest position because they might get taken out by an Israeli drone any day now. But I think that being Rouhani or Javad Zarif is even more dangerous because regime forces, people know where you live, and the fact that you try to surrender to the Americans makes you a target by your own regime right now. So it's even, I would be more scared right now to be Rouhani or Zarif than Ghalibaf. That right now. Okay. So yeah. So the way that you need to, and again, guys, I know Americans have access to so much intelligence beyond anything that we have access to, but I also know, based on our people who have been close to the halls of power and their experience, is that not all politicians always pay attention to intelligence reports. And even when the intelligence is being reported to them, sometimes they don't understand it or they're not paying attention, and they have their own biases that makes them consume the intelligence information differently than the way that they need to. Again, I don't know what's happening here, but at least we have to admit that it looks like this is something that they did not expect. But if anybody was talking to us here, I would tell them that right now the Islamic Republic is the propaganda arm of the Islamic Republic, because the propaganda arm of the Islamic Republic used to be a tool of the Islamic Republic, but now it runs the Islamic Republic, in the sense that if you have the IRGC, if you have the reformers, if you have the Beit Rahbari, the Khamenei people, and you have Ghalibaf, okay, so the reformers are completely bankrupt right now here because they don't have the support of the opposition, they don't have the support of the regime people, and they have no guns, and they have very little economic power. Beit Rahbari, which is the office of the supreme leadership, have they are rich, but not as rich as IRGC. They don't have direct access to military power, to weapons. IRGC is the one that has direct power. Their main power used to be people power, because they had, with Ali Khamenei, they had the most direct influence over regime supporters because of the emotional bond between Ali Khamenei and the people. Now, with Ali Khamenei dead, this group has become its own thing, and instead of listening to Ali Khamenei to see what they demand, what they should demand, they have their own demands, right? And IRGC has no people power. It has military power and economic power, right? So the people power is leaderless. Mujtaba Khamenei is not in the scene to control the people power. So that means that the economic power and the military power of IRGC is now serving a group of people that are, we could consider, the Islamic Republic supporters, that they don't have a person that represents them. And this is why the media of the Islamic Republic, or all of its propaganda arm, including the Madahous are the religious vocalists that Ali Khamenei used as his propaganda arm. They have those people who used to be the mouth, the advertising tool of Ali Khamenei, now have a leadership role because of all the media networks that they have, and because they're the voice of regime supporters. When they come on Sedo Sima on state TV, and the mad dogs that are basically there and they're popular, the things that they're saying is a reflection and an amplifier of the demands of regime supporters. So they have a way to shape the narrative and basically amplify the demands, the radical demands of regime supporters, which in turn means that the IRGC is basically answering to them right now. And this is why state media and the Madahous are now part of the leadership. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And because the things that they demand is maximum, like no surrender, no capitulating, the complete destruction of Israel, and humiliating United States. This is why you see when Zarif and Rouhani come out, and let me actually show you another thing that I saw. They come out and say, like, we need to end the war, and we need to make peace with the Americans. You see images are like this. Let me show you two images that I saw, if I could find them. So you already oh, here. Let me actually I'll show you two videos and also a video, and then, sorry guys, after that I'll get to your points. Sorry about taking this long. So we see images like this, for example. People in the streets are holding signs: Marg bar Zarif and Rouhani, Marg bar Rouhani Baha'i, which means death to the American Zarif, Javad Zarif, and death to Baha'i Rouhani. And here you could say they say his real name is Manuchehr Feridun, and he's a Mossad agent and also Savak. So they're basically saying these are spies. ما ملت متحد ایران از قوه قضاییه خواستار محاکمه و اعدام این دو خائنین خائنین به وطن و اتحاد ملت ایران هستیم. Saying we the United Nation of Iran, we want our judicial branch to Muhakeme is to put on trial and execute these two traitors to the country and to the unity of the Iranians. So there's that. And then we see stuff like this, hijabless as well. Hijabless pro-regime people are now these days regime's favorite. This is Javad Zarif. They're burning his picture. So they're saying Marg bar sazishgar means death to the people who are wanting to negotiate with the Americans, or basically are people who want to appease the Americans. You can see that, by the way, hijabless women in Iran are now the favorite for the Islamic Republic for their advertising these days. By the way, this is, I hope you guys appreciate that I predicted exactly this, right? This is why I'm not surprised that the regime is not capitulating, because there is no, like, this is what would happen if anybody tried. This is why I think the Americans should have known that this is not going to happen. And hold on, I need to refresh this because sometimes X doesn't let me pause when I need to pause. All right, so this is a Madahous. Madahous is a religious vocalist, right? Which is a major part of the Islamic Republic's propaganda tool and Ali Khamenei's favorite way of sending out his message, right? So Saeed Dodian, a famous religious vocalist with close ties to Iran's establishment, called ex-foreign minister Javad Zarif a traitor after his foreign affairs article urging an end to the war and threatening to raid his home if he fails to retract his remarks within 3 days. I'm not going to play the whole video because I want to hear what you guys saying, that basically this was a good summary of it. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you want me to translate the whole thing, or else that would be, or that would take too long, because I really do want to hear what you guys have to say. By the way, I really do want to appreciate Goldie, because Goldie recognized that this was my prediction. She says, she quote tweeted this. She's saying, this is why everyone needs to follow Armin Navabi. He's been talking about this exact internal collapse scenario on Iran Revolution Live for at least few weeks. Okay, so so I'm so, it's such an honor that she as soon as she saw this, she was like, oh, this is what Armin said would happen. Yeah, but years. Well, yeah, on Iran Revolution Live for weeks at least, right? So, guys, in the chat, do you got me? It's 2 minutes. It will take a while to read the translation. Do you want me to quickly read the translation? Let me know the chat. Yes, okay, I'll read it quickly. I saw Nara nodded. That's all I need to know. Let me actually. Yeah. Saying Mrs. Zarif has 3 days to say I screwed up. Some friends came and asked us not to polarize the atmosphere. We are also upset about many things. Some say they have no doubt that Zarif is a spy. See, most of the crowd agrees with that second assessment. They're like, polarize what? He's not even with us. He's with the enemy. Security officials, are you waiting for Zarif to write on his forehead that he has sold himself to the United States? Mrs. Zarif, you have no damn right to prescribe solutions for the Islamic Republic. You have no damn right to speak. With the proposal you put forward, Even someone who is blind, deaf, and mute can understand that you are a traitor.
کر لال میفهمه که تو خائنی اون وسط دشمنی که
In the middle of this proposal, you call for improved relations between Iran and the US.
رهبر منو شهید کرده دشمنی که انقدر بی‌احترامی
An enemy that killed my leader, my supreme leader, and has shown such disrespect for Iran.
به ایران کرده تو میای میگی وسطش که آره یکی از چیزایی هم که میخوایم اینه ارتباطش آمریکا با ما خوب شه شکر خورد
No, wait, he didn't translate the phone. He said, like, you come and say you want better relationships with United States, even though they killed our supreme leader.
آمریکا با ما خوب شه شکر خوردی از این
Shame on you for making such statements.
مرگ بر
Death to the traitors, sellout.
وطن فروش خواه
No, death to the traitorous sellout. Guys, this is now the Islamic Republic, okay? I used to say it's not the supreme leader, it's IRGC now that is Islamic Republic. However, these people are in charge, okay? This is what the Islamic Republic. So when you hear Islamic Republic, used to people think about Ali Khamenei, then people now you think about the IRGC logo, but these people are right now in charge. Satisfying these people is now what the Islamic Republic needs to do. So this is now the new face of the Islamic Republic. So they're all saying death to the traitorous sellout, they repeat it. Security agencies, you're the hope of our warriors. If you do nothing, I give Zarif 3 days. See, they're taking the security forces that they will take the matters into their own hand if they don't go get their Zarif. And because Ali Khamenei loved these people are untouchable because Ali Khamenei loved them before he died. So it's like you can't just come and arrest this person for doing anything against the regime. So if so he's saying give them 3 days. If he does not say he screwed up, on the fourth night we will gather and go storm his house. Yep. So this is the mess right now within Iran. This is why negotiations are not happening. And guys, if you read Javad Zarif's foreign affairs article, even the things that he was, even his surrender, even his like plan to make things right with America, even that was retarded, ridiculous. Even though they were like, "Oh, we will still enrich uranium, by the way, and you will remove all the sanctions." So even the most reasonable, moderate, so-called moderate person, that they're still demanding continuation of enrichment of uranium. So imagine what these hardliners want if the so-called moderate wants to keep that. Anyways, and let's go now to the list.
I'm gonna mod today for a little bit. So we have a few people who want to respond to this issue, and the first person is Jeffrey.
With regards to President Trump's statement, it's probably a combination of a couple of things, not the least of which is the 48-hour pause is in part out of respect for Yahshua Mashiach and Easter. The other part is, the discontinue or the lack of continuity is, again, the mad president's strategy. It's very clear, like to the remnants of the regime, that all their asses are on the chopping block as we removed we put everybody back on the kill list. Like you're seeing us disproportionately target IRGC remnants, like in the northern part of Tehran where they were, traditionally lived. So you're seeing the regime try to bump up all of its rhetoric in the hopes of trying to survive the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's probably not going to work. I had shared with Ali and BT and a couple others some of the open intelligence assessments on what the Mullah regime's statement was on Mullah state TV. Anybody feeding intel wherever the IRGC is leadership is located or where they live will be considered traitors and shot. So why am I sharing all of that? It reads to me that you have a regime that knows its days are numbered, and very much the next 2 weeks is like their ass is on the line. So they're going to say and do whatever they got to try and say or do to try and live past the next 2 weeks. Our effort should be to as provide as much assistance, kinetic and lesser kinetic assistance to the broader anti-mullah diaspora, both outside and within Iran, so that they can best assist our air forces targeting of the mullah regime, the remnants of the regime, and put the Iranian people in the best position possible for when His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi makes the call.
Mhm. Okay. Any response to that, Armin?
No, let's move on because I took so
Okay.
much time at the beginning. I want to make
Okay,
sure
next
that
person to
other people.
respond is Johan, and let's keep it to 1 minute and a half to 2 minutes for the responses.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there is so much noise, extremely amounts of noise, and very little signal. The signal that I have is still the same, that the US have more or less followed the same, had the same war objectives, which is to create a safe environment as possible for the Iranian people and stay along to help them to get this over with. And that's still my read on it, my take. Trump's tweets, holy shit. He said when all this started, he said, well, I don't care about the midterms. I don't care about the polls. You have to do the right thing sometimes. And I actually think that Trump is sincere when he says that. I think he is. But sometimes when I read what he posts, I'm like, is he gonna have time to like make this right before before the midterms or whatever? Like because some tweets really looks bad, and most of the mainstream media I follow a little what says on the Swedish television. It's just like they have like no clue. Swedes most they have no clue what's going on. They think that Trump is seeking an easy off ramp for the war, and he's just gonna get the hell out of there. Like that's not what I think. Yep, I hope I make.
Quick question, just a short response. Do you think that President Trump and others were a bit surprised by how the Islamic Republic is able to resist? A bit?
Well, no, you always want these things to happen faster, right? I remember when they strike at the 28th of February, the Friday I was pretty low. Like I remember I was thinking, and they actually went in on the Saturday, and it's kind of the same now. I believe they've had 47 years to dig in.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just takes some time. But I do think that they are going full throttle. That's what I think, and I'm still hopeful.
I just want to make sure that we're not one of those people, like one of those groups. Like we have to consider everything because I see some groups are like, "Oh, President Trump knows everything and can't do anything wrong." We have to consider other narratives as well here, right? Anyways,
Yep.
okay.
Next person to respond is Daniel Dome.
I like the guy who was chanting Mark Bark to whatever his name was. I think he like somebody must standing behind him and pulling the strings because under the same circumstances he could shout Mark Bark to Khamenei Jr. because the Islamic Republic Constitution basically says you must not have like appointed offsprings as leaders, and basically that's what happened. Khamenei, the cardboard Rahbar, is kind of is the son of the first Khamenei. So that's how I
No,
feel about it. Correct me.
there is no. I mean, it does look hypocritical that they were so much against the Pahlavis for making everything the monarchy for things being heretical. Yeah, is that the right word? Yeah,
Mhm.
but what they say is like, oh, that he was not chosen because he was the son of Ali Khamenei. We genuinely checked for the merits, everyone's merits, and it had, we picked him. I mean, they don't have to be honest, right? They could just say like, we picked him because. I mean, honestly, I don't think they picked him because he was Ali Khamenei's son. They picked him because he was the easiest to control by IRGC. But they could lie and say it was genuinely because of his merit and nothing to do with him being Ali Khamenei's son. So there you go.
Because the funny
Because there's
thing
no.
is that sorry.
Yeah, go on. Go on then.
Because the funny thing was that he actually like canceled some of his lessons a short period of time before the strike on the 28th of February. So like nobody
No,
considers him as a Ayatollah.
It wasn't shortly before that. It was actually, I think, a year before or something like that. Yeah.
Right, but still nobody considers him as a Ayatollah.
No, regime supporters consider him an Ayatollah. I just don't I don't consider him an Ayatollah because I know more about Shia Islam than regime supporters. But regime supporters consider him an Ayatollah.
So the regime
All right.
supporters like do anything. All right, sorry.
Yeah, we're 30 seconds ahead. The next person to respond is Guy.
So I wanted to say two things. First, with regards to how much of this was anticipated by Americans. In general, based on my own read as an outsider, I would say unless you've actually been here, like in the Middle East, and interact and been in close proximity with these kinds of people, you can't imagine that they exist. I think Americans have had the Homo economicus model of reality for a while, which is essentially to say that at the end of the day, it's all about material needs, and even like really extreme people have a little Jefferson inside, just dying to get out. And like I don't know how much Trump has been disillusioned before this about that. Having said that, I would, and this might be what Jeffrey wants to say after me, but he has read off air some of the military expectations, and this does seem to be at least within the confines of what they found plausible for the operation.
This is what I think they didn't understand. I know a lot of people were like, no, they understand everything, but this is the part I don't think they understand is the political part of it. They understand the military part of it. They didn't understand the religious political part of it, right? They admitted that they were surprised that the Islamic Republic did not capitulate. Okay. And that has less to do with their military capability, and it has more to do with the political climate within the Islamic Republic. And if you had asked me, I would have told you that they are not going to capitulate, and I will give you the exact reason. But they were surprised by it, and they communicated that they were surprised by it. So I think it's kind of like we have to. I think that is it's kind of coping to go and say like they saw everything coming. I mean, if you look at the history of intelligence operations by United States, it's not all perfect, right? They have had they have some of the best intelligence in the world. Honestly, I think Israel's intelligence is far superior in the Middle East compared to American intelligence, right? Because you can never gather information as much as people who are on the ground and operating on the ground. But I think that a lot of this intelligence gathering is more about military and other tactics. This is why it makes so much sense to invest more in understanding the ideology behind the decision makings that goes into all of this. But I think we have, and again, given that I know the history of CIA and many other things that they have done that was based on false analysis, we can't rule that out, that they just thought, especially after Venezuela, I think they thought that they could repeat what happened over there, and this is a completely different beast. It's not even remotely comparable, and I think
Yeah, I
maybe
was
they were
just
surprised by that.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say that I think they expected a more complicated Venezuela, but essentially like the same kind of thing. And it's clear to anyone who's dealt with Islamic extremists that like it was clear that it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think
Especially
Jeffrey
these.
wanted to. Oh, sorry, Armin, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Neri, when you're admitting, you're in charge, so you could even tell me to be quiet when you want to. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because we're 34 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to our list. So I think Jeffrey wanted to make another point on this topic, but let's be quick, Jeffrey, because I'm going to start the list after this.
You bet. So we absolutely took into account these potentialities. I actually read some of these on the after show a couple of days ago, like what our assessments were, what would happen. So, like, it's not that we didn't perceive to have insecurity flows from the surrounding area try to come into Iran. Like, we definitely had that on our mind. So it's not like we were caught completely blindsided.
Got it.
Yeah, I just want to repeat again that they communicated that they were surprised quite many times.
I do just want to add on what you were talking about, Armin. Yeah, I think a lot of Americans, even probably a lot who are highly placed in the administration, do not understand religious fanaticism and thought that this would be like dealing with the Nazis, where you take out Hitler and maybe a couple of the other top ones, and the ones below will make a deal to save their skin. And they just don't get that reality.